We harness quartz every day in our computers. Silicon chips at a correct angle, I think it's 52 degrees, then it is a great way of, oscillations of watches of the quartz is cheaper rather than using cesium. We can use quartz oscillation of the atoms. The electricity is called a piezoelectric. As long as we give it a little rub or pass current through it, then it creates a charge. And then with regards of having quartz in water, the way to get something from it, it has to be an alkaline water. So between the pH levels between 1 and 14, the exact center should be 7, and it's also a spiritual number, which we've talked about today, 7 a lot. Pure water should be 7, but for quartz to give away, it should be slightly alkaline, so even 7.1 would be enough to leak, to seep some material very slowly into the water. The more alkaline it is, the more atoms it gives. So pure quartz is just silicon dioxide, SiO2. So simply it would oxygenate the water. Within water, we know with science that everything can be created from that water if you bombard it with, it just depends what you bombard it with. If you've got very, very powerful radiation. Purify, yes, absolutely makes perfect sense, because not only oxygen in the SiO2, in the quartz, not only oxygen oxygenates water, gives life for aquatic life to breathe in that. As we drink that water, then that, when we are climbing high mountains and suffer from altitude sickness, we are to drink water, because of the oxygen within that water. It helps us that way. If that water is from a stagnant lake and it's accumulated dirt, then what do? We filter it naturally through sand and charcoal. But sand is a great natural reservoir of water, underground reservoir of water, being in between the sand grains. It's called diagenesis, when sand, a beachy sand, is crushed with high temperature and pressure to turn back into quartz liquid with a high pressure and temperature. It then takes millions of years, or it's recently found it can take just a few thousand years to crystallize back into the pure quartz which we see now. And homeopathy of molecular medicine is a perfect way to explain how you can get goodness from quartz put in some water, and that is still practiced in Spain. Spain has the most pharmacies per person, either in Europe or the world. I think it's the world. This age of Kali Yuga means iron age as one of its meanings. So to have iron implements is very bad. If you're eating with iron implements, then you are ingesting anger and quarrel. But if you have implements made out of quartz, like Buddhist, I don't know what you call it. It has Buddhist weapons, or use them as even beads. Quartz mala. Clay itself is composed of different crystals. It's not quartz, but it is feldspar. It's just another crystal, and just an ugly, comparatively ugly form of microcrystals or nanocrystals. So crystals has modern use in various ways, in lasers. In hospitals use these lasers. They use X-rays using heliotrrope crystals, and particularly ruby and sapphire. Different crystals give different therapeutic effects. Things like a colloidal silver. You can put a high purity coin in water and drink that. Don't overdo it, or your skin will turn blue. Not in a good Krishna way, but we can overdo these things. We can be allergic to copper, or copper can be the best utensil made out of metal that we can have. The 11,000 people per pharmacy in Spain, most of those pharmacies are called homeopathies and pharmacies, because they really take the ancient homeopathic stance of creating their own medicine from plants and crystals, which is a Sanskrit thing, divided between the animals, the plants, and crystals. As the British would sing, animal, mineral, and botanical, I think, of a very modern general. That goes with the song. As is the Ayurvedic best book. It is divided into those 3 subjects, and then depending on what ailment you have, you take the appropriate medicine between those 3 things. So, but as for consuming small sand, small silicon, that would tear up. We're not birds, so we don't need rocks in our stomach. That would kill us. It depends how you are charging it. If you're charging with electricity, with water, you could blow yourself up. If you are charging with the sunlight, then there's no harm in that, as long as the glass is pure, the quartz is very clean. The problem with the esoteric way of charging by sunlight, we know that there is in there scientifically that it would benefit us. The UV rays passing through the quartz and leaching into the water, there is something there, but if you were to practice yourself, then you run the risk of just with your finger, the oil, the bacteria growing overnight in the water, that growing, and then you'll cause yourself some trouble. So you need to do it in the correct way, and the problem is that because it's esoteric, in the Western way, we have forgotten. We're not looking at the scripture in the Western way, and therefore we do it the wrong way. We'll make our own things up, and it won't work, or it'll be useless, or it can be detrimental.